Hey guys, English Pastry here, and in today's video I'm going to be going through and giving you guys an in-depth guide to the new operators that are coming to Rainbow Six Siege, Ace and Melusi. Let's go. Alright, starting off, we're going to start off with Ace's kit. So of course Ace is a 2-speed, 2-armor attacker that has the Selma Aqua feature as his main gadget. Moving into his loadout, he's got two primaries, the AK-12 and the M1014. If you guys don't know, the AK-12 is a really good weapon, and I think it has the highest DPS out of all the ARs and SMGs. And another note about it is that it has the regular sights, not the Russian sights they usually have on Fuse. So overall, just a really good weapon. You're gonna want to play the AK-12. You're almost never gonna want to play the shotgun. Don't do it. Moving on to the pistol, P9, the gigging pistol. Not very good. It's just a fine pistol. Doesn't really matter. Then the two secondary gadgets he's got the breaching charge and smoke grenades. One that's pretty good for vertical play, doing stuff like that. And the other one, I'd probably recommend playing smoke grenades because you can execute better and you could do a bunch of stuff with the smokes. You can smoke off mirrors. You could smoke off different rooms for executes. Really good. Overall, really good kit from Ace. Probably the best out of any hard breacher. I mean, if you don't count Maverick, I think Maverick probably has the best kit out of the hard breachers. But besides that, Ace coming in clutch here with a really good kit. Now moving on, we're going to be talking about Ace's main gadget, the Selma Aqua Breacher. Elsa has 3 of these throwable Selma gadgets that use hydraulics to breach any reinforced or soft surface. Once thrown and stuck to a surface, the Selma then starts to fully deploy, and one by one rectangular holes the width of about a thermite hole will open up. 3 total holes will be opened and will be made in a succession to create one large hole. To make one small single hole from when it is thrown, it takes roughly 6 seconds. The whole process to make one giant hole takes roughly 13 seconds. If deployed on floors or ceilings, the gadget will not expand and will only make a singular hole. If you plan on opening a reinforced hatch, you will need to use 2 of your Selma throwables to completely open it. Now, some tips and special interactions with this gadget. It, like an exothermic charge, will be destroyed if the wall is electrified. It also will be jammed by a mute jammer. If that mute jammer is destroyed though, it will just resume its process from where it left off. Also, if someone is standing on the other side of the wall, say trying to ban a trick, and a single hole opens, the Selma will roughly do 8 damage for each hole. One last little cool interaction, I'm not sure if it's on purpose and it might be patched, but if you place a mirror window on the spot that the Selma is opening, it will destroy that Selma, so you can use that to manipulate it and create a hole above the mirror and get a really nice mirror window setup. A quick tip for using the Selma, I wouldn't recommend you throw it that high above head level, because if you do that, you'll have to vault through the hole that you make instead of just walking through it. Another quick tip, I'm not sure if I was the only one that was worried about this, but don't worry, no matter how low you throw the gadget, it doesn't need to have space to be fully deployed. It will just make the hole all the way to the bottom. That's really it for Ace's gadget. Now we're going to move on to strengths and weaknesses. We already kind of talked about this, but one of the biggest strengths he has is his kit. His weaponry, the AK-12, really good gun, pistols we don't really care about, breaches and smokes, does hard breaching, really good. Now the second strength of Ace is that you can use his gadget from a distance, like Habana. You don't even need to be in the room to do the hard breaching. You can just look inside a window and throw it. You don't have to be near that wall, which a lot of times you might see a thermite just die from a nitrocell or just someone flanking him because it's very exposed when he places exothermic. Another advantage is that it's a throwable. Now the big advantage I say to this is that you can throw them all at once. You don't have to place one and then place another. You can throw them all at once, and when you do that, it makes it a lot harder for a bandit or someone else to trick it. Might be able to get 1 and maybe possibly 2, but if you do all 3, they're not going to be able to get all of them unless they're using an electric claw. Now one last advantage to Ace's gadget, if you're just using him to open up lines of sight, he does it the fastest. This is not including Maverick of course, but from when they make sounds, so that'd be when Ace throws his gadget, when Habana shoots her pellets, and when Thermite starts placing down his exothermic charge, Ace does it in 6 seconds, which is quite a bit faster than Thermite or Habana. Now moving on to some of his weaknesses. The biggest flaw in Ace is that it takes a while to create the hole you need. There are a couple of reasons why this isn't ideal. The biggest reason is that it makes him much easier to trick. Now no matter what, you'll probably get one hole open. but if Ace is your primary hard breacher, and if you need him to open up a large hole like Thermite would, it might not happen. Now depending on how high you place the Selma, bandit tricking might not work because it will leave the bandit extremely exposed, but for tricking that you can do from a distance, like impact or kite tricking, you can do that with ease. And that brings me to another huge weakness, which is impact tricking. Usually you can only impact trick on walls that have a soft gap at the top of the reinforcement, but with Ace, he makes the holes for you. Once his first hole is open, you can throw an impact right at the side of the hole and destroy the rest of his Selma. And one last small weakness you could say is, or disadvantage, is that he can't open hatches real well. It takes 2 of his Selmas to open 1 hatch, so he only is able to get 1 hatch, whereas you look at someone like Obana who can get 3 hatches. So definitely not recommend if you're trying to get a hatch. Alright, now let's move into how you should play Ace. Obviously based on the nature of his gadget, Ace is more of a support orientated player. He is another hard breacher. He will play a lot like a Thermite would, but the biggest playstyle difference between Ace and Thermite is that Ace can frag. Now, I know people say fragment or whatever, but really, Thermite's gun just is not that good. Ace on the other hand, he has the AK-12. This is how I think a normal Ace round would turn out. They'll start by playing along with their Thatcher, and once the entries gain decent map control and he can reach the main walls with the Selma, he'll just throw multiple Selmas on multiple different walls. I already talked about why they do this. It basically negates the bandit trick. And once he gets the main walls open, he's just going to play aggro, and letting the Thatcher play that planting role. Keep in mind that he also has smokes, so I expect he'll use the smokes to allow the Thatcher to execute while he pushes in for frags. That's how I think Ace would play out, but that would be because I'm focused on his utility and playing him instead of a Thermite. If you also have a Thermite, I'd say you can even play Ace as an entry. There are a couple of maps I have in mind that this would probably actually work really well on. The first one I'm going to say is Clubhouse. The reason I say that is because Ace's Selmas, you can use them really early on the round on those reinforced walls that face the outside of a map. I'm talking like, CCTV wall, maybe the wall dirt tunnel, garage wall, and whatever that other wall is, I forgot what that's called. You could still get really good utility in with Ace before you even enter the map, which will make more sense in my mind if you want to play an entry with him. Overall, just some closing thoughts on Ace. I think he will be meta. I have almost no doubt about that. The only reason I could see players not wanting to play him is because of what I just talked about, and if Ace is your only hard breacher, you have a huge responsibility and you really can't take as many chances with them. But besides that, everything else about him is extremely good, great weapon, great utility, 2 speed, 8 cog, almost anything you could want in an attacking op, to be honest. Now before we check out Melusi, let me know, do you guys prefer this style of operator guides? I'll probably throw a card asking for your opinions. And if you guys don't know what my other operator guides are like, I'll probably throw a card to my operator playlist. See what I did there? Some people call it stage advertising, I call it tactical questioning. Now moving on to Melusi. Like we did with Ace, we're just going to start out with Melusi's kit here. So starting off, we're going to see here 3 speed Walmer Defender. Haven't seen one of these since Alibi actually, so it's been quite a long time. She has the Banshee Sonic Defense as her main gadget. We'll talk about that later. Moving into her loadout, she's got 2 primaries, the T5 SMG and the Super 90. T5 SMG is obviously Legion's SMG. It's a pretty good gun actually. One of the better SMGs I'd probably say. And then the Super 90, you don't want to run this. It used to be good, now it's not really. That's really it for primaries. Moving on to the secondaries, we got the RG-15 pistol, which is Ella's and Zophia's pistol. And I think Warden has it too. A really good pistol, probably the best one because of the sight. The Romeo sight, it's really good. Moving on to her gadget, she has the deployable shields and impact grenades. Now, that's really interesting because impact grenades go really well with 3 speeds. If you know Vigil, even Alibi, roamers and impacts do really well together, and deployable shields, they're really strong. So she has some great utility because she also has 3 of her Banshee devices. That makes them for some really great utility. Overall, really good kit actually. Let's talk about Melusi's main gadget, the Banshee Sonic Defense. Melusi has 3 of these large deployables. The Banshee can be placed on all deployable surfaces, similar to a bulletproof camera and Evil Eye. Oh, and by the way, it too is bulletproof. This gadget has about a 6-meter radius. Once an attacker walks into this radius, the Banshee slows down the attacker in its radius, similar to a clash shield or barbed wire, and alerts the defenders of enemy presence by making this noise and animation thing. For this gadget to work though, it needs a line of sight on the enemy, similar to how a Momai magnet will work. Now some special interactions. Attackers can melee this device, use an explosive gadget, or destroy the surfaces placed on to destroy the Banshee. Nook's gadget does not affect the Banshee at all, and that is really it. Not many interactions with this gadget, it is really simple. If we weren't getting those proximity secondary gadgets, I would literally compare this to a bulletproof camera that you don't need to be on. Now moving on to her strengths, again like Ace, the biggest strength is her kit. Solid SMG, deployable shield, 3 of these devices, impacts, oh, and don't forget, she's a 3-speed. Her next strength is the way their gadget works, and it's what you call a set and forget gadget. Similar to ops like Jaeger, Rook, Goyo, you can literally just place her gadget down in the prep phase and not have to worry about it. And that's moving on to the next strength, and that's just her gadget as a whole. It gathers information. It's similar to like Legion, and honestly I think it will be almost as annoying as Legion. Because unless you have an explosive or something, you're going to have to go through these Banshee devices. And when you do that, by the way, you're really exposed. It's just not fun, and honestly it could be slightly oppressive. She even has one more strength, and that is completely stopping pushes, and I'd say sneak attacks, something like that. If there's a Melusi in your way, you literally cannot rush the site. If she just places one of these in Dirt Tunnel, if you plan on going for a Dirt Tunnel rush, that literally stops you in your tracks. Now weaknesses, there aren't many of them. We're kind of picking at bones here, but the biggest weakness I could find is that it's easy to see. If you're droning, you're going to see this gadget. And one more, honestly, I'd kind of call it a positional issue or weakness, you know? And that is, say you place one of these Banshees on a doorway to sight, and you're having to watch your flank. If you aren't positioned correctly, by the time the enemy gets inside and you're alerted of his presence, they could already have an angle on you and you'd be dead. But that, like I said, is more of a positional weakness than an actual Banshee weakness. Now, moving on to her playstyle. My first instinct is to just play her as a roamer. I'd say she's similar in the way that you could play Jaeger when he was a 3-speed. She can set out her gadgets, and then she's free. She used all her utility, now she's just a 3-speed with a good gun. Now her gun isn't as good as Jaeger's was, but to make up for that, she has impacts, which are very useful to a roamer. You can open hatches, offer distractions, make rotates, really anything. Escape pinches, they're really good. Now going back to her main gadget, you can play and place them a couple different ways. The first way is a flank watch. Usually for defenders, the best flank watch you have are barricades and cameras. But those have their own weaknesses. With Melusi, you can just place her gadget on the side of a doorway, window, staircase, whatever, and know when someone is hunting you from the other side. This will be especially useful when roaming, because when I roam, I find that I'll often die trying to fight one enemy, possibly killing them, and then getting cleaned up from another angle. Having a Banshee on your flank will let you know with a sound cue, and also you'll see the points if you have those on, so you can turn your attention to that angle quickly and possibly get another kill. Another way you can use this Banshee is to set up free kills. Place this on the other side of a window, doorway, and you'll never need to peek for information. Once you get the information from your gadget, you can peek and get a free kill. The fact that it slows the defender's movement really gives you an advantage in any gunfight. Plus, the defender can't necessarily hear and might be trying to melee the Banshee, so you can really pick up the kill really easily. Especially if you're using some kind of obscure cheeky angle, you know what I'm talking about? And now the third way, and I would ultimately say it would be the easiest way, is simply putting them in doorways, windows, rooms that attackers often push. Placing them in these areas will force the attackers to make sound, take time, droning, etc., and will usually give you good information on where the attackers plan on pushing and allows you to act accordingly. Overall, my thoughts on Melusi, she is good, like kinda crazy good. She can soak up so much utility, give so much information, slow down the attack, has a pretty good weapon, and is a 3-speed. I wouldn't be surprised if she's nerfed. I'd say she might lose one of her Banshees, possibly the Banshee would lose its bulletproof capabilities. Just my thoughts. Now that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Steel Wave is coming soon and I still have some more videos planned for it, so stay tuned. You guys know I say it every time, so leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.